The storm punched out the lights at 11:07 p.m., and with a soft sigh, every bulb in Harbor City went dark. Car horns groaned to a stop, elevators hung motionless between floors, and the only thing still humming was the old diesel generator in the basement of WHCY 1130 AM. Its pistons rattled like bones, feeding a thin trickle of life to the transmitter and a single set of studio lamps. Marcus Vale, host of the overnight program After Dark, ran a palm across his headphones as the on-air light glowed red. "If you can hear me," he said into the microphone, "you're one of the lucky few. Phones work, batteries work, and this station works. Call in, tell us what you see out there." He leaned back, trying to ignore the weight of the surrounding darkness. Even inside the building, the blackout felt vast, as though the walls had been peeled away and the studio now floated in space. Through the lobby window, he could make out no traffic lights, no flicker of neon. Only the suggestion of rain fell across the glass, faint and soundless. The phone line crackled. A caller came through before the automated screener, installed exactly for nights like this. Had time to pulse its tone of approval. "You're on the air with Marcus," he said. "Go ahead." Silence. Then the tremor of an elderly man's voice. "Am I too late?" "Not at all, sir. What's your name, and where are you calling from?" "Charles." A cough. "Charles Mendel. From the east side." Marcus frowned. The name was familiar. "Tell us how the blackout looks over there, Charles." "Well," the caller murmured, "I can't see the river anymore. I used to sit on my balcony and watch the fairy lights. They're gone, and the balcony feels like a pier that someone sawed loose, drifting." A prickle crawled along Marcus's scalp. "Do you have candles? A flashlight?" "No," Charles said. "And I can't leave. I can't find the door. The hall goes on, and the pictures are missing from the frames. I tried to hum a tune to keep myself company, but I can't remember the notes." The old man paused. "Marcus, I'm afraid of what happens when I'm forgotten." The booth monitor flashed. Producer May King, sitting on a stool in the control room, mouthed, "Dead?" Marcus shook his head, confused. Charles kept talking, voice thinning like a wick. "You're the first person who's heard me in years, since '84. Marcus's hand stiffened on the volume fader. "'84. Mr. Mendel," he said carefully, "are you telling me you died in 1984? "I did." A watery laugh. "Pancreatic cancer. But here I am, breaking the rules. The airwaves have holes tonight, and I fell through. Promise you'll remember me, Marcus. Promise you won't let them take my name." Before Marcus could respond, the line filled with static so thick it sounded granular, like sand compacting around a microphone. Then silence. May gestured frantically through the glass, holding her phone to the window. She'd already searched the obituary. It confirmed what the caller claimed. Charles Mendel, community theater actor, passed away 9/14/84. The studio felt colder. Marcus inhaled, forced calm into his voice, and invited the next caller. A woman answered. "Marcus, I was waiting." Her tone was young but parched, as though spoken through a cracked speaker. Thunder rumbled somewhere beyond the blackout. "Name and location?" Marcus asked, though part of him dreaded the answer. "Lena Ortiz. Used to live near Lafayette Park." Marcus's breath caught. He had gone to high school with a Lena Ortiz. Bright laughs in the lunchroom, a soprano in choir. She died in a car accident the summer after graduation, 2009. "What's happening where you are, Lena?" "I'm wandering through empty apartments." Each word seemed to trail condensation. Doors lead back to the same rooms. Mirrors show only the outline of a girl. "I'm losing my face, Marcus. I thought if someone said my name aloud, it would paint me again." "The lights are out in the city," he said. "But we hear you." "Not enough," she whispered. "I feel the hush moving in. The hush that eats the letters of your name. I need you to keep talking." The hairs on his arms rose. "What is the hush?" "You might call it forgetting. When the living stop saying the stories we unravel. I've torn around the edges already." A sob stifled. "Please." Static crept over the call, but not like before. It was softer, almost careful, as if listening. Then the connection severed. Marcus killed the microphone. "May, this is a stunt, right? Some macabre ARG?" She answered through the glass intercom, her voice thin. "We don't have that kind of budget, Mark, and the obit checks out for Lena, too." The generator coughed, dimmed the overhead lamps, then steadied. Every speck of dust in the beam seemed to slow, hanging midair like ash. Line 3 blinked. Marcus swallowed hard and pushed the fader back up. "After dark, you're on." The voice that came through wasn't singular. It was a collision of many, dozens maybe, overlapping syllables. The result sounded like wind through a broken organ. "We are the unspoken," the voices chanted. "We leak through cracks in silence. Tonight all Harbor City is a crack." Marcus felt his throat tighten. Who am I speaking with? Those losing themselves, those you left behind in albums, shoeboxes, cemeteries with worn smooth stones. May's eyes widened. Something behind her computer caught her attention. She picked up a pen and scribbled on a notepad. The phone lines. Numbers coming in haven't been used in decades. Marcus continued. "What do you want from the living?" "To be told," the polyphonic chorus cried. "To be breathed. Each name is a rope that hauls us back from blankness. Speak us, remember us, or we drift beyond the hush." The lights flickered again. Marcus realized the static wasn't just in the headphones, it slithered through the hallway vents, a faint hiss on the edge of hearing. The building itself was starting to sound like a detuned radio. The chorus faded abruptly, replaced by one last solitary voice, a child's. "Mr. Marcus?" He forced softness into his tone. "I'm here." The boy sniffled. "I'm Tommy. I can't find my mom. I was sick in '73. They covered me with a blanket, and I fell asleep. I woke up in the dark, and nobody's called my name in so long. Please, could you say it?" Marcus's mouth formed the syllables automatically. Gentle. "Tommy." Something wet stung his eyes. "Tommy, you are heard." A small sigh crawled over the speaker, relief so palpable it tightened his chest. Then the hush returned. It sounded like moth wings erasing ink from paper. The boy's breath thinned, then disappeared. Marcus muted the channel, wheeled his chair into the control room. The generator's exhaust seeped faintly through the floorboards. "This is impossible." May sat rigid, fingers dancing over her tablet, cross-checking call logs with death records. Her cheeks had lost their color. "They're all dead, Mark. Every single incoming number is obsolete. Area codes retired, landlines canceled before we were born." He stared at the blinking phone bank. 6 more calls queued. Something inside him, curiosity, fear, duty, settled into resolve. "Put them through, all of them." One after another. Voices filled the airwaves. A nurse who caught the flu in 1919 describing hospital corridors lined with cots that stretched forever. A pilot shot down in '44 recounting how the clouds froze around his plane like glass. A grandmother who baked sugar cookies every Sunday and could no longer recall the taste of butter. Each begged, with differing shades of terror, for remembrance. Between calls, listeners still among the living tried to dial in. Their cell service sputtered, cut short. It was as though the dead monopolized the bandwidth. Yet one text squeezed through to May's phone. "Are you broadcasting a seance?" People were listening by candlelight, transistor radios pressed to ears. Word spread in the darkness, passed from balcony to sidewalk, from apartment stairwells to stalled subway cars. "Turn to 11:30 a.m., they whispered. "The dead are talking." Inside the studio, the static deepened into a presence. Marcus felt it stroking the back of his neck, urging him to forget why he'd come into work tonight, what color his car was, what apartment he paid rent on. With a deliberate effort, he made lists in his head. Teacher's name in 3rd grade, Mrs. Halprin. First kiss, outside a bowling alley, flavor of cherry lip gloss. Current grocery in his fridge. half-empty carton of milk. Each memory felt like a nailed plank over an encroaching flood. May clutched her headphones. "Mark, listen." She raised the volume on the monitor speaker. Beneath the caller's voice is a low pulse beat. 3 slow clicks, over and over. A code. He recognized it from an article he once read about number stations. Dot dash dash dash, dot dash dash dash. Morse code for the letter B. Again and again. B, 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 like a heart monitor sounding flatline. He keyed the mic. "To whoever is tapping that code, identify yourself." Static swelled, thick enough to press against their eardrums. Then a deep baritone spoke, precise and calm. "Broadcaster." Marcus flinched. "You mean me?" "No, I mean what I was. The role. Broadcaster of memory from 1933 to 1951. The hush took my post then, but I remained to observe. Tonight I take the microphone again." May whispered, "We have another radio host on the line." The voice continued. "The hush feeds on neglect. It eats the unloved first, then the simply forgotten, then the misremembered. It has starved in recent years. The internet made remembrance easier, but outages stir hunger. Blackouts are feasts. You, Marcus Vale, hold the only lit stage. Keep it burning or we vanish." Marcus's hands trembled. "What happens if I stop?" "Silence," the broadcaster said. "For us, and soon for you, because forgetting is contagious. Once silence learns your outline, it will redact you too." May grabbed a second mic. "What do? We can't speak every name in history." "You can invite the living," the voice advised, "to reclaim their dead. Have them say the names aloud, pass them window to window. A city-wide litany. The hush recoils from communities that remember together." The generator hiccuped. Lights dimmed to sepia. Marcus felt time thinning around them. Calls blurred, echoing one another. "Remember me? Remember me." He inhaled, keyed the mic again, and addressed the city. "All who can hear this, pick up a flashlight, a pot, bang a rhythm so your neighbors know you're awake. Shout the name of someone you lost, a grandparent, a friend, a pet turtle, anyone. Let your voices braid into a rope for those slipping away." He slid faders wide open. The studio speakers bled open air, capturing faint echoes from the streets below. First came a single voice, a woman on a balcony hollering, "Ruth Goldberg, I love you." Then another. Soon a ragged choir rose. "Abuelo Martin, Sergeant Deeks, Baby Ellie." Names overlapping, creating a tapestry. The hush hissed, displeased. Static surged through the sockets, but it carried less weight, as though the current had been siphoned. Marcus imagined invisible mouths forced to retreat, stuffed full of unwanted light. The baritone returned, softer. "Hold it, Marcus. It's working." He nodded, sweat chilling under his collar. For 15 minutes he stayed silent, letting the soundscape of the city's remembered fill the transmitter. Clanging pans, drummed tabletops, thousands of names read into the dark like constellations. Gradually the static thinned to a margin. May exhaled, eyes moist. "We might actually do this." Then the building shook, subtle but undeniable. May's coffee mug skittered across the console. The hush had not left. It had only consolidated. The phone exploded with one final call that overrode every channel. The waveform on the screen exceeded maximum, a flat wall of amplitude. Marcus killed the monitor to protect the speakers, but the voice still materialized, bypassing equipment, vibrating directly in skull and bone. It was the hush itself. Bone dry, syllables scraping. "Memory is finite. Your fight delays does not prevent. Forgetting is the nature of flesh." Marcus gritted his teeth. "So is resistance." The hush laughed, a sound like Velcro ripping. "You will forget even this victory. Indeed, some already have. Check your sidekick." Marcus turned. May looked puzzled. "Sidekick? Mark, it's just me in here." Her eyes scanned the room as though he'd addressed someone else. His stomach lurched. He pointed at her headset, the monitors she'd calibrated, the mug she'd just steadied. She frowned, uncomprehending. The hush was erasing his memory from her timeline in real time. He lunged for a Sharpie, scribbled on May's forearm. "My name is May King. Remember me. Your name is Marcus Vale. Remember me." She yanked back, startled, then read the ink. Confusion melted, recognition reignited. Oh God. She snatched the pen, drew a thick line down her wrist like a save point. "We need bigger ink." Marcus marched to the microphone. "Listen up, Harbor City. The hush is rewinding us. Write your names, your loved ones, on anything you can grab. Speak them, carve them, tattoo them if you must. The blackout can take light but not ink and breath." Below, sirens wailed. Ambulances, perhaps. Or just alarms triggered by surge fluctuations. And through them came voices, louder, more deliberate. Children shouting the names of grandparents, neighbors exchanging rolls of duct tape to scrawl lists across brick walls. The hush seethed. "End the broadcast, Marcus." He swallowed. "Not until the lights come back. Your generator is dying." As if on cue, a metallic squeal rose from the basement. The studio lamps flickered to brown. May tore open the equipment rack, unplugged the fridge-sized UPS battery reserved for daytime shows, and dragged its leads to the console. Sparks flew. The on-air light brightened, tenuous but alive. Sweat streaked her temples. She drew another name on her other arm, her late father, Chase King, in hasty block letters. Marcus spoke through a dry throat. "Hear me, hush. You survive in cracks. We're filling them." "No," it groaned. "You are merely delaying entropy. Tomorrow they will resume their routines and memory will slip. I can wait longer than you can shout." He adjusted the mic closer. "Maybe so. But tonight you starve." Across the city, candles glimmered in windows like hundreds of tiny stage lights. And each flame was accompanied by a voice, an anecdote, a name. People who had never met stood on adjacent balconies trading stories, a flood of memory flooding back. Minutes passed. The hush tried different tactics, voices imitating lost lovers, threats, sweet promises, but none landed with the same force. Its tone weakened, thinning to faint snow on the line. Finally, it retreated beyond the range of human ears. The studio fell quiet. Normal quiet. The kind cushioned by acoustic foam, not the cosmic vacuum of forgetting. Marcus looked at the board clock, 4:16 a.m. Outside, a single floodlight on the harbor pier flickered to life. Then another in Warehouse District. One by one, neighborhoods relit, grids reconnecting. The city's hum returned. A newborn hum, shy but definite. The generator gave a relieved sputter and died. The UPS took over just long enough for Marcus to sign off. "To every soul who joined us," he said, voice hoarse. "Thank you. Power is coming back, but let's keep the lights we just made. Tell the stories tomorrow and the day after. Carry the names as lanterns." He cut transmission. For a long moment, he and May sat in darkness, lit only by the sunrise smudging the windows orange. Finally, May spoke. "Do you think it's gone?" "For now," Marcus answered. His throat ached with exhaustion. "Entropy never quits, though. We just wrote it an IOU." She flexed her arms, names written like vines. "Then we keep writing." A breath of early daylight wandered through the corridor, smelling faintly of wet asphalt and diesel fumes. Down in the lobby, Marcus could hear the thump of doors as employees trickled in, surprised to find the station still standing. He stood, joints popping, and took one last look at the phone bank. The lines were dark, but his mind echoed with all those voices. Charles, Lena, Tommy, the broadcaster from 1933. For a second, he wondered if he'd dreamed them. He touched the notepad where May had scribbled earlier. There, in her hurried handwriting, lay the proof. Died 1984, died 2009, died 1919. Columns of dates, names, fragmented quotes. Ink on paper. "Remember us." Marcus pocketed the pad. just in case. Weeks later, people would recall the great blackout, the eerie quiet, the sudden neighborhood chorus of shouted names. Some would say they caught snippets of WHCY that night. Others insisted the station must have been down because the tower had lost power. Conspiracy forums blossomed, skeptics grumbled, believers created yearly Night of Remembrance events. But whenever Marcus walked past a wall still bearing the smeared Sharpie signatures of that night, he smiled. Evidence didn't need to be pristine. It only needed to be repeated. At home, he kept the pad in a shoebox labeled Station Records. Every so often he opened it, read each name aloud like a pledge. The pages grew soft from his fingerprints, but the ink remained, because he had made a promise, whispered in the small hours while the hush hovered hungrily at the threshold. To remember, and to help others remember, until one day someone did the same for him. And somewhere, in whatever place exists just outside the perfect dark of forgetting, voices breathed easier, names shining like radio dials turned all the way to dawn.